So here's my question for you. If you want me to bury you in a dress, that's fine. Except that I have never seen you in a dress. So it would be weird for me to now put you in a dress. If you were somebody who was just like every now and then you wear a dress, or if you wore a dress every day, it'd be cool. But for all of a sudden, for you to be in a dress feels performative.
Welcome to Brief Recess. I'm Michael Foote.
I'm Mélissa Malebranche.
Today we're going to be talking about melatonin dreams, Terry Gross.
Sorry.
all our crazy ex-boyfriends, deportation flights in America, the Insurrection Act, your last will and testament, and all the questions from my DMs. Stick around. Sit your ass down. No, I'm just saying, like, shout out to the vegan. I just totally tripped. I just totally tripped. I just fell into the studio. I just found out that I got jury duty.
Oh my God.
I got jury duty. I'm like,
you're not going to want him. You're not going to want him. They're not, no. But seriously, they're not going to want you. Because,
I hope not.
Because I haven't been a paralegal in, thank God, I don't know how many years. And anytime they've ever asked, has anybody ever been like a lawyer or whatever? And I'm always just like, and then
they say, get the fuck out of here.
And they're like, how long has it been? And I'm just like, it's been a really long time and it doesn't matter.
Comment below all the ways that you got out of jury duty, because I need your help. I'm calling to the community, the girlies, the dolls, the divas, the boots on the ground. Tell me exactly how to get out of.
I don't think you need anyone's help. I think if you say, they're not going to want you.
Because I'm going to get in there, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to throw both legs behind my head, and I'm going to say... And they're going to say, sir, please leave.
No.
You can't do that here.
The fact that you are an attorney and the fact that you are, like, you're a social media attorney
true,
and you're always talking about it, I would lead with that. I'm
going to be like, whatever happens here, I'm going to yell about it on social media. I'm going to go right to my podcast.
You should. Oh my God, you totally. I have a podcast. We talk about legal issues. Don't worry about it.
Okay, because here's the tea. I have a hearing that day. So I'm going to court and then I'm going to jury duty an hour later.
In the same
building. Yeah.
Really?
So, yes, I have I've got to go to, it's a calendar reset for a judge. It's a criminal charge.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same freaking building. So I'm just going to go downstairs and be like, hey, I'll probably know the judge. I'll probably know the prosecutor.
I honestly think this is like, don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it.
I'll film a TikTok. I'll try and update everyone on social media. I'll film me going
to
social media. Going to jury duty. See what they say.
How are you?
I'm good. I feel like, I don't know. It's been a crazy start to the week, I think. It's been like a little bit. I mean, it's a weird week to be an immigration lawyer in America now.
I think just generally, I think it's weird to be, an American in America right now. But I can imagine that if you are somebody where this is like the work that you do, then it's insane. It must be insane because I feel like I'm crazy and I have nothing to do. What do you mean?
Like it is insane and it's busy, but like it's always been insane. So I feel like it's been a decade. I have like good boundaries with it, but I will say that like I think about this is such like a stupid way to describe it, but Toni Collette talks about her role in Hereditary, where she had. Did you see that movie?
No.
Big horror fan. I love horror movies.
I
do, and I scare the crap out of myself, and then I get scared and I can't sleep.
Speaking of not being able to sleep.
It's a form of self-harm. Wait.
Tell me your thing, but I got to tell you about my Mélissa doesn't sleep story and what this doctor said to me the other day.
Okay, wait. Can you just tell me? Just give me what did she say?
Okay. So I have had a lot of trouble sleeping and none of the things are working, right? Like over-the-counter stuff isn't working anymore. For a long time, I was taking like Benadryl-like Chiclets. No. And then finally, I heard that you can't do that.
Did you hear it through my TikTok that I made?
No.
I made a video and I was like, everyone's so worried about fentanyl, but have you ever taken a Benadryl? Because that shit knocks me out. If I take a Benadryl, I'm gone for 2 days.
Well, I mean,
out of office.
You don't understand. Like when you cannot sleep,
sure,
it impacts everything.
Sure.
Like it makes me cranky and bitchy and like.
But do you have like a Klonopin, a Xanax, or something, anything?
So I have not yet tried anything prescription.
Where are my dolls?
I've been trying to do this naturally. Then I started taking like sleep gummies and that worked for a little while and then it stopped working. Then I also would, and then I was like, combining all these things, like Michael Jacksoning myself, right? No! And so
I will say, when Mélissa walked into the studio this morning, she opened her bag and a handful of pills fell out. She started crawling around on the floor, screaming, crying, "Where are my dollies?" Yeah, it was bad. It was a real Judy Garland moment just to get her in the seat.
And then the other thing is like, so melatonin.
Right.
Did you know that it gives you weird dreams?
Oh my God. The Hat Man comes out of the ceiling.
Okay, everyone's nodding. I did not know.
Oh my God, everyone in the studio is not. No,
yeah,
melatonin.
So I was alone. I did not know this.
Oh, my dreams.
But it wasn't, the dreams are not bad dreams. They're weird dreams.
Yeah. It's like watching the opening sequence to American Horror Story. Anytime I take a melatonin, it's like I start hearing the creepy music. I start seeing things. It's spooky dooky. And I was listening to an NPR show because I'm a Terry Gross girly.
We love Terry.
She was talking to a doctor who was saying melatonin is good and like it's like 0.0025 is all you need, is like the only study you need for melatonin to actually work. It is such a small dose. Mm-hmm. And like the minimum dose in America is like 10 milligrams that you can buy from this store. So we are all taking like way too much melatonin and we shouldn't be doing it, is what they were saying.
Well, but the thing is okay, so if that's the case, then that dose of melatonin was not helping me sleep. Right?
No, it was just fucking you.
It was just so
just rolling hard.
So I was talking to my primary care physician and I was just like, I can't sleep. And she's like, okay, I want you to go do a sleep study. Sure, no problem.
Oh, so interesting.
So I didn't do the study yet, but I had that first meeting with the doctor, and she's asking me questions. And this was a telehealth thing,
oh, okay,
right?
okay,
so
yeah. I'm so excited.
She's asking me questions. She shouldn't have these questions. And then she says to me, to hold one nostril, breathe on one side, do it on the other side, right?
Okay.
There's a reason why she's asking me to do this.
Okay, because there's a line of blow in front of you?
Yeah. And so, so then she says to me, let me see your tongue, right? So I have my laptop.
It's just a lady at the zoo. It's just like a lady at the fucking circus that Mélissa walked up. It was not a doctor.
So she says to me, let me see your tongue. So I kind of like bring my and then she's like, you don't have to do that.
She brings her laptop in.
Because I'm like, what? So I stick out my tongue, and then she was just like, yeah, I'm going to send you this machine to see if you have sleep apnea because you have quite a wide tongue. So,
it's the guy from Kiss. It's like, who
got the notorious shitty interview with Terry Gross.
Did he? Roll the clip.
It's so good.
I gotta watch it.
It's rolling around.
It's on the internet? The guy from Kiss?
Gene Simmons and Terry Gross.
Okay.
And she reads him for filth. And she's
Get him, girl. Get him,
does that shtick really work for you? It was so good.
She gathers him.
Oh, so good.
Oh, I gotta watch
So then I've been talking with my friend Zandria, shout out to Zan, and I said to her, I was like, I'm going to do this sleep study. She's like, oh, because she's also having trouble sleeping. So I said to her, my doctor says to me that I've got like a fat tongue.
Did Zandria show you her tongue?
No. But she's been sending me tongue emojis since then, that bitch. And she was just like, you have a fat tongue. And I was just like, well, the doctor didn't say I had a fat tongue. The doctor said I had quite a wide tongue. She's like, no, when I tell it, it's going to be that you have a fat tongue. So I'm going to get the sleep apnea thing and I'm going to see. I don't know why she was so quick. Can you document it
for me? I got to see you with all the electrodes on you.
So it's not that.
What is it
It's
then?
like a hand thing.
Oh, I hate that.
And it's disposable, which makes me very concerned about all the medical trash that we're getting rid of, right? She was just like, oh, it's disposable. And I was like, is it plastic? And she was like, yes. And I was like,
do you remember when it was like the start of the pandemic? It was like still April. Tom Hanks still wasn't clear with COVID. And
he still had it, right?
He still had it. And we had like ads on the radio. I remember listening to podcasts and hearing ads of like nurses begging people for like masks and gloves and stuff. Do you remember that?
I do.
We like didn't have anything.
No.
It was crazy.
You couldn't
that
find
just
anything.
reminded me of that.
Why?
Just we were talking about like medical waste and like the trash and stuff.
Like doctors, nurses, medical professionals were like reusing masks. Do you remember also during the pandemic, sort of everybody was getting like mask acne?
Yeah, they were getting like a line around their face.
Yeah.
That was anyway.
That was very slick.
Let's get into a sidebar. We've got a lot to talk about. It's every day feels like
it's been a week.
A week. Condensed into 8 hours, but we've got plenty of news to cover, so stick around. All right, so this is sidebar. We're going to jump into what's going on in the courts, what's happening in the...
What's going on
What's going on this week? I was saying it's a weird week to be an immigration lawyer, but I had a client who... People have been reaching out to me a lot about this, and I actually would rather just address it on the show because I can't respond to everyone. But people are asking about, what do you do if you get called to a USCIS appointment? Like, hey, you're going to get fingerprinted, or you get a request for evidence and you've got like an active asylum case. Like, what do you do? Because what's happening is people are going, we just saw it in the headlines. A New York City council person got arrested at like a routine immigration. Did you see this?
I did.
Yeah. So people are being asked to attend these routine appointments, and in a normal world under any other administration.
People don't want to go, right?
And people don't want to go to their appointments anymore. So
do you blame them?
No, not at all. And especially because like council people are getting arrested at these immigration appointments. And those are like prominent public figures.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have Mom Donnie speaking out every day about making sure that we release this person. So people are going to these appointments and they're not coming home. And it's like they're trying to comply, right? These are the rule followers. These are the people who are trying to do it right. They're trying to do it the legal way. They came in. Right. They're filing. They're
to the United States the right way. I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my LPR.
Right.
And then I go to the appointment, and
LPR is legal permanent residence.
And they arrest them right then and there.
Yeah.
So my client reached out to me and was like, I got this weird random request to get fucking fingerprinted. Mm-hmm. And it was like, we already did your fingerprints. I'm looking at it. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it in the case, in the file.
Right.
And anytime they want, like, it's called an RFE, a request for evidence, they submit it through a special system, and I get notified as this person's lawyer. Mm-hmm. So I'm like,
Sorry, did you get notified that they needed to come in?
I did not get notified.
Sure.
So they contacted my client and said, you have to come to this office in Queens for an appointment. And it's a USCIS office. Bitch, I went instead of my client. I went to the appointment. I went to the appointment. I said, what do you need? What are you looking for? Oh, well, we missed a finger. I said, okay, because I'm looking at all 10 on the document. So which one is it? Oh, well, we really need to talk to your client. You know, it just started to become like the a game of excuses. And I said, okay, great. What is it you need to ask my client? I'm happy to have them submit a written declaration answering whatever your questions are. Mm-hmm. And so I sort of pulled a power move, not just going, but also I kept referring it back to the courthouse. So this is what I did. I said, whatever it is, let me know, submit it through the system, and I'll tell the judge. Mm-hmm. I'll tell the judge and the attorney for the agency, the DHS attorney, the information you're seeking, because the attorneys are like 4 people above the officer I'm dealing with. So I'm saying, great, submit it, and I'll tell your boss's boss's boss what it is. And they kept being like, oh, well, where's your client? We need to talk to your client. I advised my client, I said, do not be at home while I'm at this appointment. Go to a friend's house, go to the office, go where, don't be at the house because I don't know what they're going to do. So I said, submit it through the system. Still don't have a request. Yeah. Still don't have a request, an RFE in the system. It is so clear that these are ploys to get people into an office so it's easy for them to arrest them.
Snatched.
And you're screwed either way, right? Because if you don't go, then they're going to say you didn't comply with the
Right, but if you do go, RFE. They grab you and they send you anywhere, apparently.
Yes, they do. Right. Oh, yeah. And that's intentional. That's by design. They send you anywhere so that you don't have access to your community. You don't have access to an attorney. You don't have access to people you know. Your family can't come and visit you. It creates financial barriers for people to come and see you. Mm-hmm. I have clients who get sent to Colorado. They don't know anyone in Colorado. They're at high elevations and they don't know like it is actually crazy because detention centers are intentionally designed to be far away from city centers. Mm-hmm. They are not in the Midtown. Right. They are upstate New York. Mm-hmm. They are in West New Jersey. Like they're not near a metropolis. Yeah. So it's harder for attorneys to access these people. Mm-hmm. So like this is like by design. Like these
if somebody has been, and remember everyone, while Michael is a lawyer, he is not your lawyer. So talk to your lawyer about this sort of thing. However, I do have a question for you. So is it okay if you were my attorney and I was asked to exactly what you did for your client?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay if the client doesn't go, but the attorney goes in their place?
That is, I'm not willing to tell everyone to do that. Like that is not a risk I'm willing to take, but I was willing to take it for my client given their particular situation. Okay. I said, why don't I go and do a little bit more fact finding here? You're not currently being held in detention. So the likelihood of them immediately deporting you if you don't do something they want is lower because they just don't know where you are exactly.
Okay.
So that was how I handled it. But I'm getting increasing reports, people reaching out to me through my DMs, through my Linktree. Hey, I was asked to go, my boyfriend was asked to go to this thing. They never came home.
Oh my God.
Which leads us to your algorithm is showing. I think we've got a lot to talk about in the headlines right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are, but I'm not hearing a lot about deportation flights.
I have.
Okay.
But I think only as it relates to like the Haitian community, right? Like it's just, it's like the rumor mill about what they're doing. I don't know that it's actually happening, but my understanding is that they've got all these chartered flights and they're shipping people off. Don't know if it's.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's true.
Most of my clients are detained, and I've only had, knock wood, and this I'm not like bragging, but like only one of my clients in the past couple months has been actually removed from the U.S. Everyone else is remaining in detention.
Okay.
Whether that's because I'm doing legal work for them or not, it remains to be seen. But usually what happens is people get moved to Louisiana, and that's where the staging happens before they're removed to their home country.
When people get deported, because I feel like this administration is different than others, right? In the past, would they just put you on a commercial flight and send you, or would they sort of charter a flight and put sort of all the people from El Salvador would go to El Salvador and then dump them versus what might be happening now? It's
very opaque. Like they don't release a lot of information. The public has pressured certain airlines. I think Avelo is the airline that the public pressured them into stopping deportation flights.
Never heard of that airline.
It's a South American airline.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
It's like the Spirit of South America, I think.
So it's really comfortable with lots of legroom.
People really pressured them into and it worked, which is why I made a video on TikTok about let's all tag the companies that support ICE contracts. That really is one way to fight back, is boycott and stop supporting companies that support, deportation of migrants.
Right.
I wanted to say about the deportation flights, I think that I'm not hearing about them because the private prison system is the goal, like lining the pockets of the private prison system of the companies that are getting those federal dollars from DHS. Like Big Beautiful Bill went through, right? And all that money went to fund these contracts. A lot of it went to prisons. And so those beds, they make more money off of migrant staying in the US in a deportation detention center than they make from the flight sending them home. So not only are the flights getting canceled because the companies aren't going to run the flights anymore, or people are protesting and pressuring the companies to not run the flights, it's more lucrative for those private companies.
Except that who's paying those companies is the federal government.
Yes.
And I thought that immigrants, illegal immigrants, undocumented people are sort of a blight on the United States, and that they cost the United States money. So you've got these prisons that are charging. Do you see what I'm saying? That are charging.
Yes, I get what you're saying, but I'm thinking who owns shares in those private companies? Who is in office?
And we understand that their MO is to lie to the American people, except that doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I think yes, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if that makes it untrue though.
Okay.
I think it's very much a myth that immigrants are costing the American people tax dollars.
I understand, but that's what they're saying.
Of course, yes. And I'm saying what they're saying isn't necessarily what is actually reality.
No, I think we know that it's not. But if they are trying to make the American people believe that immigrants are taking their jobs and they're using resources, and that's why we're trying to get rid of them.
But what those people who want that and believe that, the Trump base.
Yeah.
All they're seeing are ICE officer busting down door, dragging person by ponytail into van. We don't see what happens on the other side of the van, and they don't care. In their minds, that person is now gone. What I'm saying is, from what I'm witnessing and what I'm reading about in the news, a lot of those people are still here in beds, costing American taxpayers a lot of money. That then goes to private prison.
Okay.
So that is what I'm seeing. I don't know. There was this interesting thing. Governor Hochul, did you see this? She was like, New Yorkers could sue ICE under her new plan. She's trying to roll out this plan in 2026. So it's on her 2026 Barbie dream house, her vision board is that New Yorkers would be able to sue ICE for if they're like assaulting them or doing anything that like there needs to be some sort of accountability for the individual officers. So that can be something that we see New York do that other states could model.
They would sue ICE as an entity or the individual ICE officer or both?
I think both. So that was, she did her like State of the State speech last week. And they covered that, which I thought was really interesting. We could talk about the Insurrection Act because Trump said he wanted to invoke the Insurrection Act.
I did see that actually,
which is insane. The Insurrection Act of 1807 is a rare and powerful U.S. federal law that allows the president to deploy military inside the United States. So it includes active duty troops, but also the National Guard. And it's to respond to insurrection, rebellion, or domestic violence when normal law enforcement can't maintain order when federal laws are being obstructed. So
it's an exception to the general rule, and I love this. What is this? Posse Comitatus Act?
Yes, that's it.
I love that.
And that forbids using military for domestic policing.
Okay.
Because it's only been invoked a couple times in American history. It was during the LA riots.
I remember.
But there was, yeah.
Were you born?
I was very young.
Okay.
What was it like though?
I mean, I was in New York, so
I know, but like, what was it like to be alive during it?
It was insane. You were like glued watching TV. And I feel like that might have been, I don't remember which came first, the LA riots or O.J. Simpson, but like those are the things that sort of stand out to me.
I think the LA riots came first. It was like 1992 or 93.
Oh, then yeah. And I was really young. I can remember being like absolutely glued to the TV and like talking on the phone with my friends, like, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy. And then I also remember like there was this truck driver. He was a white truck driver who, and I forget, it was in downtown Los Angeles. It may or may not have been in Compton. I don't remember. But he was driving. He got to the middle of the intersection. A bunch of people pulled him out of his truck, started to beat the absolute crap out of him. We can find the video somewhere. And was like,
my reaction was to be like, I can't believe I missed this, but I was 4. So like, I was like, I think I get a pass. I was like, wow, I can't believe I missed this. Is crazy. Where was this, huh?
Taking a nap.
No, I was like, it was nap time.
It was nap time for you.
Damn, but I didn't miss the OJ. I saw the truck. I watched the truck drive down a core childhood memory of mine.
Okay.
Yeah. It's why I got into the courts in the first place.
I thought the reason why you got into the courts was because you watched your dad get perp walked out of a museum.
You touch one fucking painting at MoMA.
You touched the painting.
You touched one Rauschenberg.
I will tell you, I don't know why I don't remember where I was when I was watching the riots, but I do remember where I was when we were watching the O.J. Simpson thing. I was in a bar at a pool hall with a friend and my boyfriend at the time.
A pool hall?
A pool hall.
Wow.
I know.
Billiards.
Yeah.
Can you hustle in pool?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
But your boyfriend at the time?
Yeah, he was.
Can we state his name for the record, or is it
Cliffy New? We don't have to use his whole name, but call him Cliffy New.
We can just call him Cliff.
We love Cliffy New.
That's a cute name. What was his deal?
He was a good dude. We broke up.
Are you okay?
I did.
Do you want to?
I'm all right. He's lovely.
I've gotten a lot of messages from my ex-boyfriends have reached out to me since this show aired. We got to do a sidebar on this.
Michael!
I know.
I told you.
Because, Mom, if you're listening, turn this off right now.
Yeah, manually.
I've got a lot of ex-boyfriends, man. Like, I was busy in my 20s. So, like, but people that I not that I forgot about, but that I haven't thought about in a long time.
Well, because and not even necessarily in a bad way. Simply because we've moved on, right?
But some of them were in a bad way. Like it didn't end well.
Yeah,
and if I do run into you, I don't want to talk to you.
No, I know. You act like you don't see them.
Yeah. But then to reach out to me to be like, hey, like, do I even give him the airtime? Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Let's do it. This guy I was dating reached out to me and he was like, we were dating for a long time. Like we were very close. And he reached out to me and he was like, hey, I just want to let you know, first of all, coming in hot, it's been at least 15 years.
Oh,
it's been a long time. I just want to let you know, first of all, how did you get this number? Second of all, how dare you? Then
you want to let me know. Let me let you know.
He says, I'm so happy to see that you finally found your thing in life that makes you happy.
Because when you and I were together, you were a hot
I was
mess.
like, oh, okay, noted, bitch. Like this thing that I built.
That is definitely earrings off, Vaseline and Vaseline on the face kind of stuff. Get out of here with that.
I said, you've got the right bitch to put you in the wrong motherfucking place. Listen, I'm from Long Island, honey. I was born in a tanning bed. I will fuck you up. So I said, of course, called my friend. You know her. I won't say her name. I called her and I was like, this bitch. Like, I leaned in. And so, and she took me down. She was like, no review is better than a bad review. Do not respond to this person. Don't give them, pretend like you don't even have the same phone number.
Especially because they obviously reached out to you to needle you.
Oh,
right?
yes.
It's very different if somebody's like, hey, I saw that you're doing this thing. Good for you. Hope that you're well. And we're moving on,
and
right?
If I see an ex of mine doing something in the public space, I am too busy leading a wonderful life that I'm very pleased with to reach out to that person and be like, hey, and like retread old tea. The fact that clearly he has nothing going on because he's like watching my 15 years later. I'm not that good in bed. It's really, not that
maybe
great.
You are. But so, you know, what's really interesting. I will say, oh man.
Mélissa!
This is not the same.
Throw in like, fuck this, get out of here. What is it?
Again, at least 20 years ago now, because mother has lived, that this guy that I used to go out with every year on my birthday sends me a message. And it starts out the same way. Happy birthday.
Oh my God.
I hope that you're doing well. And I don't know why. I always forget what happened the year before. And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
You forget? It's all the Benadryl you're taking.
Maybe.
Your memory's shot.
But like, this is not an opportunity for you and I to reminisce about the times that we fucked. Like, I don't want to talk to you about, and it's so weird.
Yeah, my birthday is not about us talking about the time we banged 20 years ago.
Oh my God. And so again, I tell my friend Zan, and she's just like, you put it on him. And I'm like,
you gave him the.
But it's so weird to me. Like, what do you want?
I know. And then, so when that happens, I start thinking, I'm like, what did I do that night? 2 a.m. in Sausalito. What was happening?
Sausalito.
You know? There's that biker gang in Sausalito. What was I doing? You know, and then I'm like, did I do something different? Like maybe it was.
It's just, but I just find it so fascinating. Like, because like my other ex-boyfriend, Cliff, who's such a decent guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, we exchange, greetings on our birthdays, and you keep it clean, right? Like, oh, happy birthday. Hope you're doing well. How are your kids? How's your husband? How's your wife?
So sweet.
Super, super nice. He came to my dad's funeral. Like, so sweet. Such a good dude.
I was there too. You didn't introduce me?
You went to the wake. He came to the service.
Oh, okay. That's
fine. And like, my mom was happy to see Cliff. My brother was happy to see Cliff. Like, it's so fascinating to me how there could be that kind of person and this other motherfucker. Like, what? Like, it's bizarre.
It's fascinating that our judgment in sexual partners can span such a spectrum. Right?
And,
of like the nice guy who comes to Thanksgiving and kisses your mother on the cheek. And then this motherfucker.
But I think, I really think that everybody has that person.
Sure.
Right?
The guy on the chain gang that you met.
I always feel like, I mean, I don't know what it is for like men, but I feel like every woman has a man in their past that is the man who made them crazy. Like, that was the guy, like, that is the guy that pushed you to a place where you have never been.
Zelda Fitzgerald, like, she's like on a gurney.
I am dead ass. Like,
the 5150 hold handcuffed.
There
that guy.
Slide into my DMs,
no,
ladies.
no.
Right? Like, no. There is, every woman has a man in her life who was the one that you were like, I think I'm going crazy. I am crazy. Yep. I'm about to set fire to this motherfucker's house. Like, there is something that.
My friend set a guy's car on fire.
Yes, she did.
I was like, get it, girl. Get it.
I keyed a guy's car once.
You keyed a guy's... Melissa, that is so 1992 of you.
It was 1992.
It was keying a car? Wow. Yes. So,
that's my mom can't watch this. My mom can't watch this.
That's why they have keyless fobs now, because Melissa was keying everyone's car.
I had a friend of mine who... literally, it was not me, but I was her lookout. I had a friend of mine... who took a drill to a guy's car once.
You were the lookout.
Hurry up.
This is coordinated. The coordinated crime.
He had a
conspiracy to drill a car.
He had a navy blue Ford Probe.
Not even, that's like a car that a drill isn't even, the drill's more expensive than the car. It's a Pinto. What was this? Is
that a real car? Yes.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Get it. Oh my God.
He took a drill to his probe.
That would get That would get you covered under the Insurrection Act. Let's take a break.
Oh my God.
This is Under Oath. We're going to do a deep dive into some hot topics. Melissa actually programmed this entire segment. I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
Anyway, yes,
she wants to talk about Lauren Boebert giving a hand job to a guy at Beetlejuice. Did you see? Did you remember that? My foot will always stay on Boebert's neck about that hand job. She's throwing neck in the front row of fucking Beetlejuice.
And here's the
I can't believe.
Right, like you're like this is the thing. Like you're grown. Go somewhere.
Go to the bathroom at least. Like my God,
like, do it in the car.
Who
like any
us?
Self-respecting person, like you know, sit there. You're like
the front. First of all, of all the shows, of all the shows to give a reach around to, you chose Beetlejuice. It didn't even get good reviews. I'm sorry, it didn't even do that well. It closed pretty quickly.
Well, maybe that's why
it closed because.
Well, no, I mean they
people
lost
were jorking it in the front row. It closed early.
She lost interest.
It wasn't. Like, it was so bad that it was like, you know what? Let's throw down right here. I will never let you forget that, Lauren Boebert, as long as you live. We're gonna do it as featured segment every week. Anyway, let's get into Under Oath. Melissa, what was the topic you wanted to talk about today?
I hate you. I hate it here.
Oh my God.
I want to talk about wills and estates.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Estate law. Everyone's favorite.
You're never too young to have a will. That's what we say in the biz.
I think that people think that they are.
I will say, as someone who doesn't have a will, yes, that is true. As someone who has high blood pressure and a family history of high cholesterol and heart attacks, and I still don't have a will.
I mean, I think that people are very superstitious about that, even if they are not outwardly superstitious. They feel like, oh, why are we planning for my death while I'm still alive and well? And I think that that's actually the best time to do that. And I remember several years ago now, we had a relative who passed away, and she was unmarried, didn't have a partner, didn't have any children, and she died. And I think the thing about that sort of really bothered me was that I remember going to see her in the hospital, and I remember looking at this woman and thinking to myself, oh, I have to tell my mom, because my mother was away, that this woman is going to die. Like, she was very, very sick, and she had been sick for a long time. And I think she knew she was ill and sort of opted not to do anything.
Yeah.
So that when she...
A lot of people do that.
And a part of me understands, right? Yeah. Because she had no partner and didn't have any kids, it sort of fell to me to clean out her apartment and go through her things.
Wasn't this in my neighborhood?
Upper East Side, no.
Oh, you had a different auntie who she lived like right across the street from me.
Oh, that's a different person. And that's actually her sister. And I had to clean out her apartment too.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway. I just got a text from Melissa that was like, are you walking your dog right now?
No, it was Brad. I saw Brad.
Oh, you saw Brad?
I saw Brad. It was Brad. And I was like, and he had headphones on.
Yeah. Why are you?
Yeah. And she lived in this apartment for 40 years, and she wasn't a hoarder or anything, but she had a lot of stuff. And she didn't have a plan. Yeah. And this made me start thinking really hard about my parents. And at the time, they didn't have any estate plans.
Right.
And I remember getting on my mom and dad about it. And my father especially was very superstitious about it. And he was just like, you know, your mom gets everything, you get everything, Joey gets everything. And I was like, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
And I think that people think that it does.
And I think that people think that my family is going to collaborate and get along and they're just going to figure this out when I'm gone. And I don't think people take into account like how they are oftentimes the glue keeping everyone together or underestimate the grief that people are going to be going through and that people won't be in their right mind when they are trying to do this. And that's often when family rifts occur.
Absolutely. And it was what I said to him. I'm like, I remember trying to explain to them that, you know, in the middle of grief is not the time for the rest of us who are left to try and figure stuff out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I will say that I'm so glad that my parents' estate was in order by the time my father died, so that we weren't like scrambling trying to figure stuff out. Right? There was a plan. I was his healthcare proxy, which was difficult, but like it made the rest of it a lot easier to take because they had a plan.
Got it.
And the other thing I think that people don't realize, there is no privacy in death.
No.
Right? And I remember going through my aunt's apartment.
Oh my God.
Being like, you know what? She would not want me to be looking at this stuff.
No. Everyone has that friend where you're my friend like that, where it's if I go,
it's up to me.
Wipe the drive. Wipe the drive, clean out that drawer.
Isn't that why you have Brad?
Yeah, I guess Brad too.
Yeah.
No, there are some things I don't want Brad.
Really? You know, I have a really good friend of mine who says that she knows that her husband will not, if there comes a point where she's on life support, that she knows that her husband will not be able to do it. She's made me her person.
Perfect. Yeah.
I know.
I'm not person for some people.
I don't much love that, but like I also get it, right? Because when you love somebody, you're like, no, maybe.
Yeah.
And she's just like, he won't be able to do it. So
I will say for like wills, for me, I guess like my logic, which I'm not saying this is like the right logic, but I know that like if I die, it will be intestacy. So basically intestacy law is what happens when you don't have a will. To die without a will, it's called intestate. And that's sort of like the legal term for it. It just means you didn't have a will and the governing laws of your state will apply to your estate. So I know that the laws where I'm domiciled, New York, will distribute my estate how I want to distribute it, which is that if I die, it goes to Brad.
Right. But
and if both of us die, it goes to,
right,
I think my sister.
See, but you don't know.
It does. It goes to my sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be more prudent for you to have a plan, like an actual plan?
Yeah, I guess so.
See, I think that's what happens. That's what it is. That's what happens to people. People are just like, yeah, I don't want to think about it. But like,
I will say
if you own property, if you have investments, or you know what though, even if you don't, when I was a paralegal at the Gay Men's Health Crisis, we used to do wills.
You would do trust and estates.
I didn't. There was another team that did that. But, you know, and oftentimes these were people who didn't have much money. Yeah. But, you know, maybe you want to leave your favorite leather jacket to somebody. You know what I mean? Maybe you want someone to have your photography or your diploma or whatever it is. But that's why you need a plan.
I will say there is this one cemetery that I actually really want to be buried in. Why? And I really love it.
You want to be buried?
Yeah, I think so.
Does Brad know
Or
that?
like cremated and buried is fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah, Brad knows that.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like on my list to buy a plot there. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that. I need to do that. And it always...
But it's on your list of things to do, but you haven't done it yet.
I know I haven't done it yet. I know I really need to do that.
But I think that everybody thinks that they have time.
Yeah.
And I mean, and not to circle back around to Renee Good, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, and the point
nothing
of that is
nothing is
absolutely,
promised.
right? Anything could happen to any of us at any moment in time. And if you have wishes, you should make them known. And I was thinking about this a lot, and I was looking at all the famous people who died without a will. And
let's do some quick definitions first. I got some just like quick definitions. So a will is a legal document that says who gets your property after you die,
right,
and who will handle your estate. A trust is a legal arrangement where a trustee holds and manages assets for a beneficiary.
Yeah.
Often to avoid probate.
Which is?
Probate, like probate court.
Yeah.
I actually did really well in trust and estates classes. I got like some of the few A's.
Why don't you do that?
I don't want to.
Okay.
It's like kind of boring. I've written wills before and I'm like, oh my God, this is like, it's just like a lot of, it feels like boring paperwork to me. As someone who is like a litigator or goes to court, like that's fun and exciting.
Yeah.
But then to be like, oh, write someone's will, I'm like, oh my God, this is like really tedious. So I've done it.
Do you want to do mine? I don't have one either.
I really don't want to.
Really?
But I'll do it.
You wouldn't do that for me?
I'll do it for you. Of course I'll do it for you, but I'm going to bitch the whole fucking time. I'm a gay man. I'm allowed to complain the entire time I'm doing it.
I'm a black woman who doesn't give a fuck about your feelings.
As your friend, I'm allowed to complain the whole time. But yeah, I'll do it for you. Absolutely.
I don't care.
Let's do it on the air. Who do you want to get what?
We're not doing it on the air.
Let's do it.
No. No.
Okay. Power of attorney, a document that lets someone make financial decisions for you if you can. A healthcare proxy, a document naming someone to make medical decisions if you're unable to speak for yourself. Beneficiaries are the people and organizations who receive the money, property, or assets from your will or trust. Probate, the court process that legally settles the person's estate. I was right.
You were right.
That A
for you.
That A in trust and estates law, it is still in there.
It's just one class on trust and estates?
There's like, I think there's like the normal one and then there's like an advanced one. And then I think it might have been like a 4-credit class. It was like a it was like a big, heavy curricular lift. And then they cover it so much on the New York State Bar exam. When I took it, it was like days of covering it in New York.
Interesting.
So I have drilled into my brain like the New York statutes around it because they really made us go through it.
I wonder why.
I think it's because it's just one of those things that everyone knows someone who's gonna die.
Well, we're all gonna die.
Or will die themselves.
Sure.
Huge if true.
Right.
And huge if true. And everyone, so they try and make sure all lawyers, it's gonna come up. A friend is going to turn to them on their podcast and be like, will you write my will for me? And you're going to have to kind of know how to stumble your way through it and do it right. So in New York, you need, I know that you need witnesses. You have to have like witnesses in person. And it sounds like so extreme, but it really is like, it could be literally anyone. Just sign and write your name for your will.
When we did our parents, my brother and I was sitting there signing our lives away. Everybody was.
Okay. So tell me about these weird celebrities who died without wills.
Prince. No will.
Prince has like a full, like a library of music. They can like release a song every year forever if they want to.
He's got music for the ages, and he had no will, which is really surprising. He had no will. Aretha Franklin didn't have an actual will. She had a bunch of handwritten wills and like they were all over her house, which apparently was a mess.
So that happens a lot. Not saying that this is what happened with Miss Aretha. What did I just call her?
They're going to come for you. They are going to come for you, sir.
I'm so sorry.
The Queen?
I love her. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I burnt my tongue on really hot. I really did. Lawsuit. Coming for your ass. Sorry.
He's lying.
I really did.
He's lying. No. You stumbled on Aretha's name, which is okay, but you want to lie about it.
But I took a Benadryl and I drank hot coffee and now I'm slurring in the studio. But Aretha, I'm not saying this happened to her, but people have like, we read a lot of cases in that class about people who would like kind of go crazy and lose their mind and write little letters, and then it would be like 4 conflicting letters and they all say something different,
and they're not dated,
and no one knows who to believe and who should get what. And there's always like that nephew from out of town who rolls
he said that I was his favorite. Right.
Yeah.
Never seen you before.
Great expectations. Yeah.
Amy Winehouse, which is, I'm not surprised that she didn't have one. She was really young. But again, that is not an excuse, especially when you reach a certain level of success, you should really have one. Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, all 27 years old when they died. None of them. There's like a whole list of people.
And who else? Janis Joplin died at 27, I think as well. Yeah. There's like this whole.
Pablo Picasso.
I wonder if, were we like expected? He died like really old as well. I don't think he
did die really old.
Yeah. It wasn't like a sudden tragic death.
No, he was 107 years old. He was really old when he died, and he should have had a will, and he didn't. Oh, Martin Luther King.
And Princess Diana.
Princess Diana didn't have a will. Wild.
Who got the revenge dress?
Meghan.
If it's...
Megan was like, I need that fucking
Were you silent or were you silenced? There's a tweet, Brad likes to quote it all the time. Were you a container ship or a ship contained? So that's so fucking stupid.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'll just be like in the kitchen cooking and I'll hear him talking to himself in the other room. That's someone who's going to write a will on a little piece of paper and leave it around the house.
Does Brad talk to himself?
We both do.
No. So
I'll be like doing the dishes and I'll be like,
I talk to myself all the time.
I'll be like, Bobert.
No, I'm like having imaginary arguments with things that I wish that I could say to people.
You're fighting in your brain. See, me, it's just like a brain rot, millennial brain rot of different memes.
No, I'm fighting with people who have fucked with me, and I wasn't able to say something or do something.
You weren't able to fucking key their car.
I wasn't able, or like it could be anything too. It'll be like some random memory from like 1998, and I'm like, and let me tell you something about you.
I should have said something, but we don't hold grudges. These are two Tauruses on the air. We are both Tauruses, and we absolutely hold grudges.
Deeply damaged people.
Okay, I have some weird rapid fire facts about trust and estates that I looked up because there's the Slayer rule.
What is that?
The Slayer rule is if you kill someone to get their inheritance, you can't inherit their money. So it like skips over you. So if like
there needed to be a rule about that.
There did, yeah. And there's a lawsuit. There's a case around it because someone yeeted their husband in order to get that inheritance.
It's actually weird to me.
The Menendez brothers, someone killed someone to get their inheritance.
Right.
And then it had to go to court to
kill their parents to get the money?
I don't think so. Don't quote me on that either.
I don't know. I'll get
sued. They're still around and we've got Ryan Murphy involved now. So
did you watch that?
No, I didn't watch that.
I started to watch it. It was so weird. The constant Milli Vanilli in that. Well, did anybody else watch this? Okay.
Wait, Milli Vanilli, the music plays?
The music. And they apparently, I don't know if this is true because it could be just Ryan Murphy doing this thing, but apparently at the funeral of the Menendez mom and dad, they played a Milli Vanilli song and it was weird. Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Can I even say that?
You can say it, you can't sing it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you. And that is what
what was played at the funeral?
Yes.
I bet they didn't have a will or a plan for what was going to play at their funeral. And that's why they did that. So that's why get yourself a lawyer. Don't ask me. I don't want to fucking do it.
Before my mom had a will, she had said she was going to funerals and she would see like people's PowerPoint presentations at their funerals. And she got a box.
Not your mother reviewing other people's funerals and being like, you know what? I actually don't want that.
Have you not met Magdalene?
She's just roasting them and coming home and she's like, not
even roasting people, but being like, I don't want that. I want this. And she had this box in her coat closet where she would deposit pictures of herself that she liked. And she would say to me, I need you to make sure. And the thing about it is, that's the kind of shit that like
that is
my
iconic.
My parents would leave all these things to me, right? So like way before my dad died, he would say, especially if he had a friend of his who had gotten really sick, he would be like, don't let that happen to me.
Right.
And I was like, we'll see what we can do, right? And he was just like, listen to me. Mélissa, put a bullet in my brain before you let that happen to me. And he would say, because mommy can't do it and Joey can't do it. And I'm like, I can do it. And I was like, you think I can do it? And he was just like, you'll be okay.
You'll be okay. You're
fine.
The strong
and I was
one.
like, while my mom didn't want me to kill her, she did put all these pictures in a box. And she was like, because your father and Joey, they can do it. You have to do it.
My mom's always like, once they're not doing my roots or my nails, she's like, just fucking pull the plug.
Oh my God.
She's like, just do it. She's like, don't let me get to it. She's like, the minute it's like not fierce.
As somebody who has embraced her gray hair, I am deeply disturbed that your mom feels like, should I just
It's just
give
like
it
an
up?
indicator. She's like, the minute it starts getting a little bit less than like glamour icon, like, let's just shut it down. She's like, I'm good.
But yeah, my mom had all these pictures in a box and she was just like, at my funeral, these are the photos that I want you to put on the PowerPoint presentation. But now that we're all on phones and stuff, if she sees a nice picture of herself, she's just like, this is
save it.
Yeah,
save
save this.
You know what? That's pragmatic. I don't want any busted ass photos of my face at my funeral. How are you going to do me like that?
What do you want your funeral to be like?
I think like, you know, the Guns N' Roses music video where she's in the wedding dress. I think if I could wear that, Stephanie Seymour.
September Rain.
Yeah, September Rain. I think something like that.
I love
something
September
subtle.
Rain.
I want like the short wedding dress skirt.
Really?
Yeah.
But okay, here's the reason why.
Wait, there was this woman in New Orleans. They sat her upright in a throne.
Mr. Interruptus, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I know I said I wanted to be cremated, but I changed my mind.
But that's not.
They sat her upright. I can have it all. Wendy's, have it your way. So you're standing upright. She had a pin that said bitch. And it was like made of diamonds.
Oh.
And she had like, she always carried around like a goblet. Okay. So she had her like crystal goblet with her. And they like paraded her through the streets. I think something subtle like that.
Yeah. Let me see you in a dress
dresses.
first.
Okay. All right.
Then I'll put you in a dress.
I will say like, I know I've got like a crazy ego and that I think I look much better than I do. I will say good. Objectively, I've got great legs. If I'm in those like spandex pants,
I've seen your legs
for running.
I think that
I've got a lot of compliments on my legs.
I believe it.
I feel like if we did like a short number,
like a romper.
Yeah, we could do a romper. I was thinking like a maxi.
No, because then you don't see the legs in the maxi.
Maybe I don't know what a maxi is.
I think you don't know what a maxi is.
I think, well...
You are the worst gay man.
Well, hopefully I don't die soon. That way I have time to like figure this out before my funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the Slayer rule, you can't murder. We got such a tangent.
ADHD. Maybe we need to have like a...
We don't need a will. We need an
psychiatrist.
intervention. Yeah. Okay. Slayer rule, you can't kill the person who you're going to inherit from and still inherit. That is like...
I still think that's a weird...
I'm sorry I ruined all your plans.
Well, no, I just think it's... Duh. Right?
Yeah.
Like...
You can sometimes disinherit your spouse, which is interesting. In New York, it's the 1/3 rule. So you are automatically owed 1/3 from your spouse's estate, no matter what. So people try and like screw over their spouse. Like they stay married, but they hate each other. Very like, you know, Catholic thing to do. And I come from an Irish Catholic family. I'm allowed to say it.
Same. Go ahead.
But people will be like, you know what, fuck that guy, and write him out of the will. You can't do that automatically. It gets like overridden. So, you know, stay married if you want.
Stay married.
A lot of people leave $1 to someone. That way that person can't claim they were accidentally left out and go to court and be like, give me my cut of the estate.
You were given $1.
We remembered. There's a little subplot of something like that in Better Call Saul. It's like that is, I love that show, but
couldn't get into
they give him like a couple $1,000 so he can't like contest it, and it's like just enough, but it's like not a lot, but it's just enough that you can't go to court.
When we're talking about what we wanted our funerals to look at, so you want to be buried in a dress and carted around?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, that feels right to me.
Okay, I don't want any of those things. I want to be
what
cremated.
Do you want?
I want to be cremated.
Okay.
I literally don't care where you spread my ashes. That doesn't matter to me at all.
Okay. So the TCBY at Penn Station, is that good?
If you want to.
Okay.
I'm gone. It doesn't matter. I do want a really nice repast with like really good food.
What's a repast?
It's the reception after the funeral.
It's the buffet.
Yeah, but I don't want a buffet.
Ooh,
I would like
cater it?
I don't know, but my friend Zandria knows like I like lemon desserts, so and I want like a really good signature cocktail.
You love lemon dessert.
I
like
love
a lemon tart.
I love a lemon tart, a lemon meringue pie.
Tarte
I also like
citron.
I also love like a lemon drop, so I want like a good signature cocktail.
Okay, wait.
Really
let me take
good
this
food.
down.
Yeah, signature cocktail, some kind of a lemon drop.
Okay, talk slower. I'm writing.
That's what I want.
Okay.
I want it to be fun. I want people to wear what they want.
What if we did like scratch offs? Like we could like give out scratch offs with some of the money. Okay. All right. You know, there's no bad ideas in brainstorming.
Well, that was a bad idea.
Little scratcher. Put scratch offs at my funeral.
Fine.
I want martinis and scratchers.
Okay.
That could be fun.
Right.
Because
let me ask you a question.
Then you're sad, but then like, oh, you won
like
$20.
a serious question though. So can you put all of those things in your will?
Yeah.
Like
you can,
and you should probably. If it's something that's important to you,
if you're dedicating money towards it from your estate, then you can put your stuff in there as long as it's not like breaking the law.
Right.
Don't give the martinis to like the kids.
Who has your phone password?
No one.
Nobody. And is that what you want?
I think Brad probably knows it. And I have to keep it really safe. I got to keep it really safe because I have like confidential client information.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, is there anything in your phone that you think that Brad would need to know if, God forbid, something happened to you? Do you know what I mean? Is there any information in your phone that is relevant to like any wishes or how you live your life that Brad should know? Or is it just
I don't think so.
Stupid stuff?
Yeah, I don't think so. And I also think that like there's nothing like super important that's in there that only I would have access to.
Okay.
Like anytime he and I travel together because we co-parent a dog, I have a friend that I give like important information to of like, hey, if something happens, we do go to some weird remote places. Like we were hiking Machu Picchu a couple weeks ago. So like that, I was like, okay, that could be potentially treacherous. I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. So I did give my friend like a little bit of information of like, hey, if something happens, this is who has the dog, like this is what his needs are. Like here's access to, certain passwords, stuff like that. I do. Yeah.
We have life insurance.
Yeah.
It's important.
Okay, well, this has been a really great like working group sort of moment. I got a lot to do. Right. Let's take a break and we're going to come back. I want to do Tales from the DMs because we've had a lot of questions from folks, which is I love to see it. Remember, leave us your questions and we'll be right back. Okay, so this is Tales from the DMs. I'm going to answer all the weird questions you send me, cool, interesting things. You can go to my Linktree and record your question and we will play it on the air.
And what do I always say, friends? While Michael is a lawyer, he's not your lawyer. These are just for fun and information.
All right, let's roll with the first clip.
As an international and European fan of the podcast, I was just wondering if there's any type of law from another country, no matter where in the world, that you find extremely interesting that does not exist like that in the U.S.
Well, Michael.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, do you have any?
No.
You don't. There's nothing like a weird law that you heard of. There's one in Japan. Maybe it's not a law, but there's one in Japan that I thought was really cool.
Okay.
Basically, there are two types of There's like a judge and a jury in Japan, but the jury collaborates with the judge on the decision in the case.
Interesting. So
the jury will like go and deliberate with the judge. So in the US, they're totally separate. The judge is just like presiding over the proceeding and saying, like, yes, you're following the procedure, right, attorney, or no, you're not.
Here are the rules, etc.
And then they tell the jury, like, these are the rules, this is your mandate. But in Japan, they say, we're going to send you into the deliberation room with an expert. And the expert is the judge who like oversaw the whole trial. And they actually have like better conviction. They have like a 99% conviction rate in Japan because the prosecutors only bring cases that they know they can win. There's none of this like guessing that a jury might stumble into a conviction if there is doubt in their mind or that. So in Japan, they have like a much better conviction rate because they have a professional in the room, practitioner, who oversaw the whole trial, understands the law thoroughly, sort of like advising the jurors in the room.
It's actually really fascinating.
Isn't that
and
cool?
Apparently, so the mixed panel is called, I'm going to butcher this, so forgive me, a Saiban-in. Feel free to correct me.
Interesting.
Yes.
But it's pretty new. I think they started it like, it hasn't always been like this, but they started doing it like 10 years ago or something.
Interesting. I wonder why. I wonder what happened or what was happening to make them do that. That's actually really interesting.
All right, let's jump into the next question.
Hi, Michael and Mélissa. So my mother's family is of Italian descent, and the way the laws are in Italy, I am eligible for Italian citizenship. It's something I want to do for a number of reasons, but given the state of xenophobia in this country right now, I was wondering if you know of any legal issues being faced by people with dual citizenships.
That's a good question.
It's a really good question.
Yeah,
and actually, have you heard recently that Trump has been saying that he wants to get rid of dual citizenship?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I have not seen any sort of bill or any sort of executive order put in place that would threaten dual citizenship. It's still like very much a robust part of American citizenship. Even if some people in the US are xenophobic or have nationalist views politically, that doesn't change the legal status of dual citizenship. There's no law in the books right now that would sort of undercut that.
Right.
I don't see like a downside to having dual citizenship at all, other than
At the moment.
Right. But I guess I would want to talk to this person and like really understand what their specific concern is insofar as xenophobia, like being someone who's identified with a non-American status. Where are you living? What community are you in? Are you someone who has to like get by passing as an American? Like what is the sort of specific situation, I think, is something that I would want to know more.
Do you mean like what is this person's particular worry?
Yeah, because I just think like someone who's sounds and presents as American, I wouldn't understand how your dual citizenship could sort of factor into like xenophobia unless you were like open about that.
About having dual citizenship?
Yeah. It is something that is kind of like between you and the government, which I understand your concern that the government is a nationalist perspective right now, which it is. But at least on the books, insofar as the law is concerned, I think you're fine.
Okay, so somebody emailed us a question. And here's what they say. I just finished listening to your November 27th episode, The Gay Panic Defense is Ridiculous, and I have a slightly off-topic but related question. The question is, the difference between first-degree and second-degree murder and the cooling off period for an emotional response. How does that work for domestic violence victims or victims of physical emotional abuse, where there is often years of big and small instances, and the triggering event is a culmination of that experience, but might not be seen that way by looking at it at face value?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, thank you for your question and for sending us such a, sensitive topic. I appreciate that and all. So it does get kind of messy here. Like there is no clear picture. I think when we're talking about gay panic defenses, we're talking about these heat of passion crimes. We're looking at like well-established case law from decades. So I think, conversations around domestic violence have really changed like pretty recently in the eyes of the law. The law is always like 20 years behind the present day in order to get cases litigated and really establish precedent. It takes a while. So when someone has endured sort of like years of domestic violence or coercive control, courts don't always treat the last incident as like the whole story. So I would say that like the cumulative provocation is something that some judges will sometimes consider.
Okay.
They'll allow that. And again, panic defenses or like these heat of passion reactive to get a reduced charge. There's no statute that defense attorneys are looking to for these. These are really like trial strategies. So there's no like law in the books that says this is the defense you're allowed to use. It's like, will this work in front of a jury? Yes or no? That's like what the defense attorney is asking themselves as they're sort of putting together the defense. Some courts let juries consider sort of like years of abuse. It's really up to the specific judge of like, okay, I will allow that evidence, or no, I don't think it's credible, which is really interesting because judges are elected officials and they're often reflective of the communities they come from. So you might have a different result in a more liberal state versus a, deep Southern conservative judge. So if the person reasonably believes they were in imminent danger of death or serious harm at the time of the murder, it could be an acquittal or it could be a reduced sentence.
Do you remember there was this case? It was this case that, oddly enough, Kim Kardashian had gotten involved in, right? It was this young girl who was sexually trafficked and she killed her trafficker. Apparently, she was eventually given clemency. So I'm wondering.
But she was convicted, I think.
She was convicted
because I remember seeing that and we were all like, this is so fucked up.
Right. And she's not the only one. There was another young girl, Alexis Martin, that was in 2020. Oh, Kim Kardashian also was very supportive of her case. So she was 14 years old when she was trafficked by a man and she killed him. And she was convicted as an adult and sentenced to 21 years in prison.
This brings up for me something that I notice is that if there is an act of a crime and there's evidence of it, it's really hard for American judges to get over that, regardless of what the excuse was. I've just sort of like noticed that as a trend as I read case law. If there's an act and they can prove it, it's really hard for your mens rea to like totally overcome all that evidence.
Okay.
Judges are seasoned litigators, lawyers who've been in the biz a long time. They're oftentimes previously prosecutors. So it's really hard for them to kind of get over all that evidence, seeing someone who we know for a fact committed the crime, an affirmative, like a self-defense defense it's an affirmative defense. You're admitting that you did it.
Right.
But here's why. So I don't see them as often being like successful defenses, or with like complete acquittals. It's usually a reduced sentence.
Okay.
It's like a factor that the judge considers.
Right.
But I don't
But
hear a ton
you
about
don't
these
get
like,
to get off scot-free.
Later, you're good. Yeah. Check in with
yeah.
your parole officer, have a nice life. Like, it's just really hard for judges to get over that.
Yeah.
It's like something, I think it's psychological.
Okay.
Thank you for sending us all your questions. This was Tales from the DMs. Keep sending us your questions. We'll try and do these every week. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you in court.
Not me.